जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रजजन रंजन जय यशोदा नंदन जय ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज विहारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय माधव जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय। श्री 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 जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। What other deities are here? गौरंगी, oh, श्री गौरंगी बैंगलोर ईश्वर की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 3 चैप्टर 24 and text 18। एषमानवीते गर्भं प्रविष्टः कैतवर्धनः अविद्या संशया ग्रन्थिं चित्वा गां विचरिष्यति। एषमानवीते गर्भं प्रविष्टः कैतवर्धनः अविद्या संशया ग्रन्थिं छित्त्वा गां विचरिष्यति। एषमानवीते गर्भं प्रविष्टः कैतवर्धनः अविद्या संशया ग्रन्थिं छित्त्वा गां विचरिष्यति। Anybody, Prabhu, would like to? Eshavanavite garbham pravishtaha kaitavardhanaha avidya samshaya granthim चित्वागां विचरिष्यति एषमानविते गर्भं प्रविष्टा कैतभार्दनः अविद्या संशया ग्रन्थिं चित्वागां विचरिष्यति. Word to word meaning by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Eshaha, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. Manavi, O daughter of Manu. Te, your. Garbham, womb. Pravishtaha, has entered. Kaitava Ardhanaha, the killer of the demon Kaitab. Avidya, of ignorance. Samshaya, and of doubt. Granthim, the knot. Chitva, cutting off. Gam, the world. Vicharishyati, he will travel over. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma then told Devahuti, my dear daughter of Manu, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who killed the demon Kaitava is now within your womb. He will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Then he will travel all over the world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here the word avidya is very significant. Avidya means forgetfulness of one's identity. Every one of us is a spirit soul, but we have forgotten. We think I am this body. This is called avidya. Samshaya Granthi means doubtfulness. The knot of doubtfulness is tied when the soul identifies with the material world. That knot is also called ahankara, the junction of matter and spirit. By proper knowledge received from the scriptures in disciplic succession, and by proper application of that knowledge, one can free himself from this binding combination of matter and spirit. Brahma assures Devahuti that her son will enlighten her, and after enlightening her, he will travel all over the world, distributing the system of Sankhya philosophy. The word samshaya means doubtful knowledge. Speculative and pseudo-yogic knowledge is all doubtful. At the present moment, the so-called yoga system is prosecuted on the understanding that by agitation of the different stations of the bodily construction, one can find that he is God. The mental speculators think similarly, but they are all doubtful. Real knowledge is expounded in Bhagavad Gita. Just become Krishna conscious. Just worship Krishna and become a devotee of Krishna. That is real knowledge, and anyone who follows that system becomes perfect without a doubt. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshtarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this Canto 3, Chapter 24, Text 18. So in this, so this is before the advent of Kapila Muni. And this whole section is, which is now going to begin, is the very powerful section of teachings of Lord Kapila. Right, so anyone who reads this section will be woken up. Right, very cutting words by teachings by Lord Kapila. Very powerful section of Srimad Bhagavatam. So just before that, Lord Brahma is telling Devahuti that Lord Kapila is going to come. The incarnation of the Lord. So he is giving a reference that this is the same Lord who killed the demon Kaitava, Madhu Kaitava. Two demons were there who were killed by Lord Vishnu. Right? So this is the same Lord Vishnu. Right? So it's giving a reference. Right? Which Lord? Oh, this is the same Lord who killed Madhu Kaitab. Right? So there is a proof that yes, Lord Vishnu. So what will he do? Right? He is there within your womb, and after he comes, what will he do? What is his specific function? Right? So different incarnations of the Lord come for different functions, different missions. So Kapila Muni, so what was his function? So he said he will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. So the first thing Kapila Muni will do is, right, he will give teachings to his own mother. Right? Who teaches his own mother? Right? Generally mother teaches. Mother gives training. But here reverse is there. Right? Son is teaching the mother. So Lord Brahma is, right, preparing Devahuti that this is going to happen. What is going to happen? Your son is going to teach you. Right? He is the Supreme Lord. And then not only he will teach you, he will teach the whole world. So then he will travel all over the world. This is what is being told by Lord Brahma. So a little bit about Kapil Muni and a little bit about Sankhya philosophy, and then we'll move on to the purport. So it's given that Kapila Muni is one of the Saktavesh avatars. The different types of avatars of the Lord, right? 6 different classifications are there. Right? Purusha avatars, then Yuga avatars, Leela avatars, then Manu avatars, Manvantara avatars, Saktavesh avatars, and Guna avatars. Like that, 6 different classifications are there. So Kapil Muni comes in the Saktavesh avatar. So Saktavesh avatar are also of 2 kinds, right? Where the Lord himself expands and or he empowers a specific jiva, right? So Kapil Muni is considered as Saktavesh avatar. And other Saktavesh avatars are Parashuram, then Narad Muni, right? Then the 4 Kumaras, like that. Prithu Maharaj. So about Kapil Muni it is given that after he gave knowledge, specifically he came to give the knowledge of Sankhya philosophy. So Kapila Muni, right? Everybody knows. Kapila Muni means, right? Sankhya philosophy. And unfortunately today when you say Kapil Dev, everybody remembers the cricketer Kapil Dev. And but right, the original Kapil Dev is Kapila Muni. Yeah. So Kapil Muni he is the founder, right, of the Sankhya philosophy. He is the first one. Sankhya philosophy is timeless, right? It's eternal knowledge. But within this world, it was first given by Kapila Muni. And then it was passed on to a Brahmana disciple named Asuri. Right? So it's interesting that the atheistic Kapila Muni also had a disciple named Asuri. Right? That's why there's a confusion kind of thing. You know? So both, right, they gave Sankhya philosophy, and as we know that the impostor Kapil Muni, he gave atheistic Sankhya philosophy. Atheistic Sankhya philosophy. So atheistic Sankhya philosophy means basically this creative elements. Right? Sankhya philosophy, it is an analytical study of the creative elements. Right? So 24 elements are called as the elements of creation, creative elements. So it's an analytical study of that in order to find the root or in order to find the source of the 24 elements. So in the actual Sankhya philosophy, which is given by the actual Kapil Muni, who is the son of Devahuti, right, it is very clearly given that these elements are coming from the source. So actual Sankhya philosophy first there is analysis of the creative elements, and then right, Kapil Muni proves that the source is the Supreme Purusha, the source of Prakriti. Right? Sankhya philosophy basically study of Prakriti and Purusha. So the source of Prakriti is the Supreme Purusha. And then within the actual Sankhya philosophy, Kapil Muni describes, right? We have some chapters 25 to 32, I think. In 33rd, Mother Devotee, she also leaves her body and all. So all these chapters from chapter 25, right, till 32, 33. The Sankhya philosophy is described by Kapil Muni, and in that, so there is an analysis of all the elements. So why there is analysis in Sankhya philosophy? Right, the analysis is there to prove that the soul is not a part of the material world. The soul is different from these 24 elements. So each and every element is studied and put away. Right? In one sense, it is also called neti neti. Na iti, na iti. This is not spiritual. This is not spiritual. Then what is spiritual? Right? Like that. So only difference between both Sankhya philosophy is in the atheistic one. The soul is described as the just like scientists, they say that it's a product of the material world. It's a product of the combination of these elements. Life is a combination of these elements. This is what is the atheistic Sankhya philosophy. Like that. So Kapil Muni, it is given that after he gave this Sankhya philosophy, he traveled to the Himalayas first, and he followed the path of the Ganges river, of the Ganga river. And finally he came to a place which is called as Ganga Sagar. Right? He came to a place called as Ganga Sagar, which is near the Bay of Bengal. Right? So even today there's a big Ganga Sagar Mela is held, where lakhs of pilgrims they go, right, every year. And it is said that he is residing there even now. Right? So it is given. Sukadeva Goswami is saying that Sukadeva Goswami told 5,000 years back, he said that he is still there. Kapil Muni is still there. Like that. And we also know one pastime is there where the 40,000 sons of King Sagar, they actually are searching for their Ashwamedh Yagya horse. And so these sons, when they are searching, they come to this Ganga Sagar and they find Kapil Muni and they find the horse is there. So they accuse Kapil Muni of stealing the sacrificial horse, and they rush to kill him. And as soon as they rush to kill him, it is said that the fire tattva inside their body increased. Right? Every body has fire, right? Earth, water, fire, all elements are there. Right? So what happened? The fire element increased and burst into fire. So all of them were finished, ashes. Right? So again Kapil Muni comes into the picture in Bhagavatam there also. And then King Sagar's son Amshuman, he comes and asks forgiveness. And then Kapil Muni says that you have to get Ganga river here, then only your ancestors can be released from this. So there also Kapil Muni comes into picture, right? So this is a little bit about Kapil Muni and Sankhya philosophy. We'll see the purport now. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada speaks about the word avidya. He says this word avidya is very significant. Avidya means forgetfulness of one's identity. Every one of us is a spirit soul, but we have forgotten. We think I am this body. This is called avidya. And then it says the knot of doubtfulness is tied when the soul identifies with the material world. That knot also is called ahankara, the junction of matter and spirit. So ahankara, right? So when we see creation, right? Creation, pradhan is there, pradhan. Pradhan is the undifferentiated material energy. Undifferentiated. It's also called avyakta, unmanifest material energy. It's always there, pradhan. Little technical, right? We are going to go into a little technical discussion now, right? I hope all of you are ready. Okay, fine. So, pradhan is the first and undifferentiated state of matter. And from pradhan, then the second stage is mahatattva. When the glance, Mahavishnu's glance is there, the second stage is mahatattva. And then it is given that the element false ego, ahankara, this is the element, false ego. It actually mixes with the three modes. And then there are three types of matter which are formed. Three types of matter. False ego in the mode of goodness, false ego in the mode of passion, and false ego in the mode of ignorance. And from that different things they come, and different personalities, right? Bodies of different personalities are formed. The demigods, they come from false ego in the mode of goodness, right? Then from false ego in the mode of passion, the senses come, intelligence. From false ego in the mode of goodness also mind comes. So like that, false ego in the mode of ignorance, sound comes, and all the other elements come. So creation, so what is creation is basically starting from false ego mixing with the three modes of nature. That is why Srila Prabhupada is saying here that knot is also called ahankara, the junction of matter and spirit. So this pradhan is also considered as the junction between matter and spirit. Pradhan, ahankara, like that. So a little bit discussion we can have on avidya philosophy, right? So our acharyas, they also discuss this in their books. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also discussed about avidya a lot, and Srila Vishnu Chakra Thakur also. Right? So it is described by Srila Vishnu Chakra Thakur in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He discusses this. So he says that Maya has two aspects. Maya has two aspects. One aspect is related to the jiva or the soul. Another aspect is related to the material energy. So basically from Maya pradhan comes. So one aspect of Maya, right, or Maya Devi is pradhan. Another aspect is two energies which are related to the jiva. So which two energies are related to the jiva? Vidya and avidya. There are two shaktis or two energies of Maya which are related with the soul. Right? So Maya Devi is basically the illusory potency of the Lord, and she has these two shaktis. Which shakti? Vidya and avidya. Right? So we have heard the avidya shakti a lot, right? Avidya rabhare, right? So in the Nectar of Devotion also there is a discussion that the root cause of suffering is avidya. Yes? You must have heard this. So, but there is another Shakti called Vidya. There is avidya and there is Vidya. So, it's very simple that whenever a living entity wants to forget Krishna and enjoy independently of Krishna, then Maya displays or puts she activates her avidya Shakti. She puts the soul into ignorance. And whenever the soul strives to have reunion with Krishna, whenever a soul tries to revive Krishna consciousness, then Maya activates Vidya Shakti. So Maya is like the jailer. She has both things. She has the power to bewilder the soul, and she has the power to remove the bewildering energy. So as soon as a soul wants to have reunion with Krishna, then the Vidya Shakti is activated, and the Vidya Shakti, it defeats Avidya Shakti. It's given like that. The Vidya Shakti defeats Avidya Shakti. Yeah. Now in the next verse, this is what he discusses, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti discusses in the 5th chapter, around the 16th or 17th verse he discusses this. And then in the next verse, 5.17 or 18, he says that the Vidya Shakti of Maya can reveal only knowledge of the Jiva, not knowledge about the Lord. It's an interesting thing here. Right? So what is this knowledge of the Jiva? What does the Vidya Shakti reveal? Atma Gyan. The Vidya Shakti actually reveals Atma Gyan, which is considered as knowledge in the mode of goodness. It is Sattvika knowledge, it is not transcendental knowledge. It's interesting. It is considered as knowledge in the mode of goodness, Sattvika knowledge. So Sattvika knowledge is still within the modes. It cannot reveal knowledge about the Lord. Right? So then Sri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, therefore Atma Gyan cannot give liberation. He says, alone. Atma Gyan alone cannot give liberation. So there, Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subramanya ki jai, Shri Gaurangi Bangalore Ishwar ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So there is a very significant point here, that the Jnana Yogi or the Ashtanga Yogi simply, right, they cannot have, without bhakti, they cannot get liberation. So therefore a small amount of bhakti is required. Simply saying that I am not this body, I am not this body, I am not this body, I am soul, I am soul, I am soul, cannot give liberation. This is what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says. Right. So Vidya Shakti can reveal only Atma Gyan. Right. So this is one very significant point which is made by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Right. So then one more interesting point is said that the super soul like Maya Devi has Avidya Shakti and Vidya Shakti. So who tells her activate Avidya Shakti or activate Vidya Shakti? Somebody has to tell her. She doesn't act independently. So who tells her? The super soul is given. Right? So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, the respective qualities of Prakriti are awakened by the Supreme Lord, functioning in the capacity of super soul. He is the initiator of Prakriti's functions. He is the initiator. So somebody can say that then that means he is actually either binding the jiva or releasing the jiva. No. It depends upon the jiva. If the jiva, whatever the jiva wants, the Supreme Lord does not interfere with the Lord, with the jiva's independence. The Supreme Lord does not interfere with the jiva's independence. So whatever the jiva wants, the jiva wants to revive his Krishna consciousness, then the Lord tells Prakriti, right? Maya dakshina Prakriti, suete sa characharam. Prakriti is not acting independently. Maya is not acting independently. Right? Yeah. So this is one more thing which is given. Then there is a very good discussion also in the Jaiva Dharma also regarding avidya. Right, so there is a discussion about why the jiva is put into ignorance. Why the jiva is put into ignorance? Because it seems, right, many questions arise. Why the jiva has to suffer? This is a big question. Suffering and pain is a very big topic. Why so much suffering is there in this world? So these are some things which are actually discussed. So why the jiva is put into avidya? Because the jiva makes a conscious choice, makes a very serious blunder. The jiva is tatastha shakti. Right? Tatastha shakti means what? Tatastha shakti means this jiva can be there in the material world, can sustain in the material world and also in the spiritual world. It's like amphibian. Amphibian hota na? Amphibian is what? One can stay on land and water both. So jiva is like the amphibian. Can be there, tatastha shakti. So can be there in the spiritual world, can be there in the material world. Right? So very serious blunder is made. Sometimes people ask, what did I do so much that I am suffering in this material world? What was my... Right? So this biggest blunder is made even before creation. Even before one steps into the material world. Krishna bhuliya jeev, bhog vancha kare, nikatiya maya tare jhapatiya tare. So maya does not catch first. Just like supposing some police comes here. Right? Police is not going to just catch, right? No. First, something wrong is done by the person. Then only police catches. When you become a criminal, then only police catches. Police is not going to harass citizens. Police will harass only criminals. So similarly, it is given that a wrong choice, a very serious blunder is made by the jiva. The jiva is given independence. The jiva is given the chetana. The jiva is conscious. And one of the properties of consciousness is independence. One of the properties of consciousness is independence. The jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna has full swatantra, full independence. Therefore, minute independence is a part of the innate property of the soul. Innate property. Inherent property. So this innate and inherent property is either used or misused. Right? So the jiva, actually, some of the jivas, they choose the material world. They choose to independently enjoy of Krishna. Independent enjoyment. There is dependent enjoyment and there is independent enjoyment. When we partake of prasadam, what is that? Right? We honor the prasadam and we like the prasadam. That is dependent enjoyment. Whereas there is independent enjoyment, which is a problem. Putting Krishna aside, I will alone enjoy. I don't know who is Krishna. Then there is a problem. Wanting to enjoy matter is a serious problem. Serious blunder, which the jiva makes. So it's given that when the jiva makes this choice, then the swarupa of the jiva is covered by two bodies. The swarupa of the soul. What is the swarupa of the soul? Jiva swarupa hai? Krishna Nitya Das. This is covered because I want to enjoy, therefore I have to forget that I am servant. Right? Supposing if I don't forget that I am servant, can I play the role of master? Every time I will be remembering I am servant, I am servant, I am servant. So then the Lord says, okay, Maya Devi, use your avidya shakti to make this soul forget that he is what? Krishna Nitya Das. Make him forget. So avidya shakti is activated and the soul forgets. And then the soul starts, right? So the soul is given two, right, bodies, right? One is the subtle body and the other is the gross body, right? So this is how the things happen in the beginning and all. And there is a lot of pain given. So why there is pain and suffering given? Right? So why there is pain and suffering given? There is a very logical reason to that. So this pain and suffering actually, and at the same time, some happiness is also given. Right? In the material world, the ratio of happiness and suffering, there are drops of happiness, but it's an ocean of suffering. There are drops of happiness, right? But there is an ocean of suffering. There is a struggle for existence, and in between that, some experience of happiness is also given. It's very interesting why this is also given. Right? There are both things given. Why both things? Why not only suffering? Or why not only happiness? Why there is a blend of both? Interesting? Why there is a blend of both? Khushi and gum, both. Why? So, because of this both things, the soul has a taste of what is happiness. The soul has got a taste of what is happiness. Supposing there is no taste only of happiness, the soul doesn't know what is happiness, then there will be a problem. The soul will not have any ambition to have more happiness. The soul will, this search for happiness won't be there. It won't be there. If there is no experience. If I have never tasted rasgulla, then I will never search for sweets. But if I taste a rasgulla, what was that? Can I have more of that? That was a real good experience. Right? And then when I went on eating rasgulla, I got diabetes. So is there some sweet or some rasgulla which I can eat and not get diabetes? The mind, or sorry, not the mind, the intelligence starts thinking in that way. Once power of discrimination arises because of the experience of both happiness and sorrow. Pain leads to inquiry. Intensification of pain. Right, the example is given that impure gold is put into the fire and it is beaten also. First it is put into the fire, right? Both things are done to the gold. One, it is put into the fire, and second thing, lot of beating is there to the gold to make it pure. So the impure soul, what is the impurity in the soul? Independent enjoyment, bhoga vancha kare. This bhoga vancha kare is the root of the problem. So this fancy, this intense desire for enjoying matter, this is the problem. And what is the solution? What is the solution? Pain, suffering. Right? Same example, when just like gold is put into the fire for purification, the soul is put into excruciating material experiences. Excruciating. Look at the suffering in the world. Horrible. Right? Can you imagine somebody, right, when an accident happens, what happens? How much pain? Right? Matajis, when they are having, is it Bhaktinath Prabhu here? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see properly. I was wondering whether it's you. My humble obeisance to you, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. I was thinking somebody is resembling him maybe. So excruciating material experiences, excruciating pain. Right? So sometimes you feel, so much pain is required here, so much suffering. But that suffering is nothing as compared to the reward which one gets. That pain and the taste of happiness, little happiness, pushes one, and right, it invokes viveka. What is viveka? Discrimination, the sense of discrimination. And then spiritual inquiry begins. One comes to the sadhus and says, Prabhuji, so much suffering is there in my life. Right? I have tried to enjoy in this way, and this way, and every time I have got battered. So many problems are going on in my life. Please, you suggest some solution. Because they know, when they are using their intelligence, they know these sadhus are happy. Right? Nobody else is happy, but these sadhus, somehow they are happy. Let me ask these sadhus, what is the secret of this? How do we become happy? So faith arises, and from sadhu sangha, right, so Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sang, Tha bhajan kriya, then anartha nivritti, nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhav and prem. So what does it start from? Who takes the soul on this journey? The sadhus, Guru Sadhu Shastra. So in one sense, this is required. What is required? This experience of pain and happiness in the material world. We all wonder, right? Why do bad things happen to good devotees? Not people. Huh? People fine, right? But why do bad things happen to good devotees also? We wonder like that. We are not talking about very good devotees. We are talking about good devotees in the sense we all think we are good devotees. The reason why bad things happen, nothing bad happens to the very good devotees, actually good devotees. And that is only to set an example, but things happen to devotees also. Devotees also go through very painful experiences. Why? Purification. Prabhuji, I am chanting 16 rounds since so many years. Prabhuji, I am doing everything properly. Okay, some mistakes might be there here and there. Right? I am doing everything properly. Why bad things are happening to me? Purification. Right? To get that realization that don't try to enjoy independently of Krishna. That is the root. So lessons are given. We have become we are trying to become devotees, but our mind is not even trying to become devotee. Our mind is still planning for enjoyment. As soon as the mind gets a chance, the mind plans how to enjoy. Right? So this pain is a treatment, this suffering is a treatment to this mind, who's always planning to enjoy. So we should never think, therefore, that why this pain is coming. This suffering is a boon. These experiences of suffering, they are actually a boon, right? Now at the same time, it is also given that these are secondary things. The primary thing for advancement in devotional service is not pain. That is not the primary thing. So what is the primary thing? Because it is said that if supposing somebody has got this experience of pain and somebody thinks that, okay, let me inquire, so it doesn't, normally it leads to impersonal realization. If somebody doesn't really meet a sadhu, then what will happen is they will become impersonalist. Right? They will become impersonalist. And so many are becoming. People who are suffering, they are going to impersonalist and becoming impersonalist. So normally they'll, right, so therefore the primary reason of becoming a devotee is sadhu sangha. Now the question comes that devotees go to so many people to make them devotees. Everybody becomes devotee? Why? Right? We discussed that this in yesterday in Sharjapur road. Huh? Why everybody? Right? Somebody asked a question. Huh? Ado Shraddha, yeah? The Sukruti. Right? That is not there. Mahaprasade Govinde, Nama Brahmane Vaishnave, Swalpapanyam Vatan Rajan, Vishwasunave Jayate. Right? Generally, whenever we hear this verse, it's prasadam time. Right? We relate this verse only with prasadam. But this verse has a meaning. What is the meaning of this? That those who have Swalpapunyam. Swalpapunyam means little pious. So what is this piety? This is not material punya. This is spiritual piety, spiritual punya. Those who have little bit of that, they don't have Vishwasana Jayate on Nama Brahma, on the holy name, on Mahaprasad and on the Supreme Lord. They don't have Vishwas, they don't have faith. Swalpa Punyamatam Rajan, Vishwasana Jayate. Right, so when devotees approach, if the person has enough pious, bhakti sukruti, then only they will come to sadhu sangha, they will, like that. And most of them, they don't come because this balance is not there. Right? But what are devotees doing? Devotees are building their balance. Right? I was giving the example yesterday that somebody, right, in Bangalore traffic, if they're driving and let's say ISKCON Seshadripuram is here, and somehow or other they lose the way or something, and they do a whole parikrama of ISKCON Seshadripuram. They don't know, they are just driving. But immediately in their diary, in their balance, it will be written, one parikrama done of ISKCON Seshadripuram. One parikrama done of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. They will get that immediately, Sukruti, and this is Bhakti Sukruti. Yes. People sometimes, they won't go to the temple for a whole year, but on Janmashtami, you will see people, they come. Prabhuji, I have come. Do you remember me? I came last year. Because Janmashtami is special for them. Now what is their idea of Janmashtami? Piety, that's all. They are punyavan log. They are thinking, अरे जन्माष्टमी के दिन कम से कम मंदिर में जाना चाहिए. Oh, at least on Janmashtami I should go to the temple. But what is happening is, this coming to the temple on Janmashtami day is bhakti. They don't know it. So again in their diary it is written, this guy, this fellow on Janmashtami he came. Balance is increasing. Somehow or other, one day they didn't get any food, somewhere they were traveling and all, it is Ekadashi. Fasting. So this fellow fasted on Ekadashi. Yeah. So what happens? What is happening is the balance is. So who is actually, supposing if Ekadashi is not there, supposing this ISKCON Seshadripuram is not there, will their balance increase? No Janmashtami, no balance. So devotees are making that balance, are creating that Sukriti. Harinam is going on, or some Mahaprasads, right? Somebody took some Mahaprasad from the temple and gave it to somebody, right? So they think it is piety, but no, it is bhakti. So it increases their balance. So like that, when the balance goes on increasing, sufficient balance is there to then that Adav Shraddha, as Prabhuji said. That Adav Shraddha is the sum total of all Sukruti, all Bhakti Sukruti. That is sum total. As soon as that is ready, immediately within their heart, they will feel, let me go to a sadhu and inquire, let me take some association. Then when we call them, right, they will come. Otherwise they don't come. That balance. Yes. What is the time? 9? 9 o'clock? Really? Exact? Wow. Fine, I'll stop here. Any questions, anybody? I can take 1 or 2 questions. Yeah.
You said that for purifying ourselves, Krishna burns us and beats us, like the gold has to be burned.
Right.
And personally, I feel very much fearful the purification by the Lord, because as we see the examples and read the examples, it's very intense. So how to remove that fear whenever Krishna is willing to purify us? How to be fearless to accept the purification with grace? I fear that I will not be able to handle Krishna's intense purification.
I think you are speaking for everybody. Everybody fears. It's not. Once.
Whenever teacher sticks in the hand,
Yeah. You know, once one senior devotee in Mayapur, Janmashtami Prabhu, because he said it publicly, that's why I can repeat it. Janmashtami Prabhu is the Mayapur Institute, he actually managed for several years. So he once came to Juhu and he was telling us, I said, you people be careful when you go to Lord Narsingadev and you pray to remove your anarthas. But last year I did that and this year is full of suffering. The last year I was praying, oh my Lord Narsingadev, please remove my anarthas. So Janmashtami was saying, literally it seemed this year Narsingadev is actually digging into my body and literally removing the anarthas. So when we are actually coming to Krishna and praying, oh my Lord, please, you are the only one who can remove my anarthas. So we are signing a document. We are signing just like before operation. You have to sign a document. Signing. You are allowed to cut my body. Right? So that the doctors, they will, right? And then they will cut. So when we are praying like that, so your question is whether we should pray like that or not. Right? So the operation means pain will be there. But if operation is not there, then more pain is there. So to get well, this treatment for the mind, for the subtle body is necessary. Some people, some souls, just with medicine, treatment is there. But some, like me, right, operation is required. Right? So we have to try our best that if with medicine means what? Just the scriptures and all, right, we understand. But if you don't understand, then Krishna says, okay, operation time. Yeah. But when we are actually being operated upon, we should have faith on the Lord. Take shelter of the Lord at all times. Right? So, prayer is the answer and shelter is the answer for removing the fear also. Faith is the answer. Yes. Okay, any other question, anybody? Yes. It's made with full knowledge. Full knowledge, yes. You can be assured of that. Krishna will not, that may not be given, right? That may not be given, but see, this tendency is studied. Tendencies, if the whole detail is given, then the choice will be taken. Supposing if it is said that a material world, a lot of suffering will be there, you don't choose this, right? Then the jiva may not choose this, but why? Because of suffering. But that enjoying tendency is there. So the enjoying tendency also has to be removed. So there is a test. The test is whether you want to enjoy or not. So if all the details are given, you understand? So the tendency is studied. Just like sometimes children are, right, there is money on one side, Bhagavatam on another side. So the tendency of the child is studied. Right? The child is let free. Right? So like that, the tendency is seen, and as soon as there is a wrong tendency, then there is a reformation. And why these souls are also sent to the material world is also to protect the souls in the spiritual world. It's like why the government makes prison house separately for criminals. If the criminals are let out here, right? Supposing imagine the jails are all open and all the criminals are out. Who will have a tough time? Citizens, normal citizens will have a very tough time. So therefore, two different divisions are. And this prison house is a reformation center. It is an opportunity to get reformed. There are some places where jail and all words are not used. Right? They say correction center. And I had one experience, I was asking, right, what is this? Right, correction center means what? Well, Prabhuji, jail. Well, acha jail, so why they have not written jail? No. They write like this only, correction center. So reformation is there. Yeah. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Thank you very much. ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna. We are very grateful to Praneshwar for giving us such a enlightening and analytical class. We will thank Prabhuji by 3 times loudly chanting Hare
Krishna. Thank you.
And Prabhuji, Mata Prabhuji took time to come to Seshadripuram. Yesterday night Prabhu got little sickness, so we pray to Jagannath Balram Subhadra that Prabhu gets his material elements reduced, so that we get more and more association with Prabhuji. Yesterday, okay, not the right words, please forgive me. Ailments I was telling.
Ailments, okay. I also thought elements.
I was thinking ailments, whatever physical problem. Yesterday, Sarjapur Road devotees are very happy. We could have got 1 hour more association, but unbalance of elements happened by Jagannath's tricks. So we prayed to Jagannath Ji for Praneshwar Prabhu's and Madhav Prabhu's good health and their recursive arrival to Bangalore, so that we get association by once chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna!